Known locally as the Rainham volcano, the area has now legally been declared to be contaminated, something local people knew all about.
Residents report nosebleeds, headaches, their physical and mental health being hugely compromised by this significant risk during what is a health crisis, with children at the sharp end of it.
But how long will it take to clean the land? We report from the area. Also tonight, a £150 fine for pouring coffee down a drain. We meet the Londoner who had to face 3 enforcement officers in Richmond.
There's this fellow just walking across the road here, phone out, in his hand, easy snatch.
Yeah, on the road with the West End taxi driver who's witnessed multiple phone snatches and is warning people to be more vigilant. And opening ballet to all, why you might see some international names performing at local theatres. A parole board hearing has heard that the mother of baby P was recalled to prison last year after she started a relationship with a man she met online without telling officials. Tracy Connolly, who you see here, was jailed in 2009 for the death of her 17-month-old son Peter at their home in Tottenham. She's bidding for her release. A man has been jailed for 12 years for killing a woman in a high-speed car crash in North London on Christmas Day 2022. Evan Ford from Bedford was driving at speeds of up to 140 miles an hour on Hendon Way when he crashed into the back of a BMW. Maria Carolina do Nascimento died at the scene. Eurostar has revealed plans to run double-decker trains through the Channel Tunnel for the first time. The rail operator has confirmed it'll order up to 50 trains. They should start running in 6 years' time.
The amount people receive in housing benefit falls far short of the cost of rent. That's according to campaigners, and it's putting thousands of low-income households into or at risk of homelessness. As rents continue to rise across the capital, there are calls for the government to unfreeze local housing allowance to help ease the strain on temporary accommodation.
What we're seeing is that people have to choose between eating and having a roof over their head. So we've seen a spiralling number of people going to food banks, and also the number of people in temporary accommodation has absolutely boomed. And there are far too many people stuck in temporary accommodation because they can't afford to pay their rent. So what we want to see is local housing allowance unfrozen so that people can finally afford to pay for their homes.
The government says it's tackling the housing shortage and rising rents by committing to building 1.5 million homes by the end of this Parliament, as well as uprating benefits and supporting people into jobs. Campaigners say they're delighted and relieved for children in Rainham following Havering Council's decision to designate Arnoldsfield in Launders Lane as contaminated. It follows years of spontaneous fires on the site. A judicial review was heard by the High Court in the summer, which issued a new guidance about how smoke impacts should be considered under environmental legislation. Now, phone theft is on the rise in London, but despite warnings, many people continue to use their devices unguarded when out and about, including in known hotspots such as Oxford Street. We joined a black cab driver who spotted numerous thefts and says central London offers rich pickings.
Usually it's always on an electric bike because they can get away so quickly. They're usually all dressed in black with balaclavas on, hoods on. Where I've seen problems is when they mount the pavement and they've knocked over pedestrians, sent them flying. There's been a few injuries that way, broken legs, etc. So that's where the danger really comes in there.
Well, to find out more on this story, you can watch the documentary Fighting the Phone Snatchers, which is available now on the BBC iPlayer.